Betrayal hurts the most when it comes from the child you spent your whole life protecting. The day my own son stood silently while his wife slapped me across the face, I realized that love without respect is nothing more than a painful illusion. That was the moment I stopped acting like a helpless mother and decided to fight for my dignity. My name is Evelyn, and at 64 years old, I believed I knew my son better than anyone. I had raised him alone after losing my husband, worked long hours, sacrificed my dreams, and even used $40,000 from my retirement savings to help him and his wife buy their first home. I thought I was helping them build a secure future, but I never imagined that future would be destroyed by greed. One quiet morning, my son, Ethan, arrived at my house with his wife, Vanessa, carrying several suitcases. They looked nervous, but something about Vanessa felt strangely confident. Ethan finally admitted they had sold their beautiful family home for $620,000. At first, I congratulated them, assuming they had found a better place to live. Instead, they calmly asked if they could move into my small home because they had nowhere else to go. I could not understand how a couple who had just received over $500,000 could suddenly be homeless. When I asked where the money had gone, Vanessa casually explained that she had paid off $80,000 in personal credit card debt, invested $300,000 into her friend's boutique, bought expensive jewelry, luxury clothes, spa vacations, gifts for her family, and countless other things. Within a few months, every dollar had disappeared. I looked at my son, expecting him to explain or defend himself, but all I saw was a broken man completely controlled by his wife. I realized he had allowed her to destroy everything they had worked for. When they asked to stay with me until things improved, I quietly refused. I'd spent 30 years paying off my home, and I refused to let my retirement become another victim of their reckless choices. Vanessa exploded with anger. She mocked my simple lifestyle, insulted my home, and accused me of being jealous because my son loved her more than me. I stayed calm until she crossed every possible line. She called me a bitter old woman and claimed I owed them a place to live because we were family. I told them both to leave immediately. Instead of leaving quietly, Vanessa stormed outside and loudly accused me in front of the entire neighborhood of throwing my own son onto the streets. She cried dramatically, hoping my neighbors would turn against me. When I stepped outside to defend myself, she suddenly raised her hand and slapped me across the face. The entire street went silent. I looked at my son, waiting for him to protect me, but he simply stood there frozen. At that moment, I realized I had already lost him. Without saying another word, I called the police. Several neighbors confirmed what they had witnessed, and Vanessa was arrested for assault right there in front of everyone. That evening, I remembered something important. Years earlier, when I helped them buy their house, my attorney had insisted the $40,000 be written as a legal loan secured by the property. After checking my paperwork, I discovered they had illegally sold the house without paying me back. The next morning, I met my lawyer and filed a lawsuit against both of them for the unpaid loan, interest, and damages. Soon, my attorney uncovered shocking information. Vanessa had a long history of manipulating wealthy men, secretly spending their money, and leaving them financially ruined. Even worse, the boutique she claimed to invest in did not really exist. Most devastating of all, she had been having an affair with a wealthy married businessman while using my son's money to support that relationship. When I finally told Ethan the truth, he refused to believe me at first. But after seeing undeniable evidence gathered by my attorney, his entire world collapsed. He learned that nearly every major financial decision during their marriage had been based on lies. For the first time in years, he saw Vanessa for who she really was. He filed for divorce, apologized through tears, and admitted he had ignored every warning I had ever given him. He promised to repay every dollar he owed me, even if it took years. I did not celebrate because my son had lost everything. Instead, I was grateful he had finally found the courage to save what remained of his future. The court ruled completely in my favor. Vanessa was ordered to repay the debt, and additional fraud investigations followed. Her fake investment scheme collapsed, her affair became public, and the people who had helped her deceive others also faced legal consequences. Every choice she had made eventually caught up with her. Today, my son lives a simple but honest life. Every month, he faithfully sends another payment toward the money he owes me. More importantly, he has rebuilt his integrity. I also found peace by moving into a quiet retirement community where my days are filled with gardening instead of family drama. Looking back, I learned that kindness should never come at the cost of self-respect. Sometimes, loving your family means refusing to rescue them from the consequences of their own decisions. The day I finally said no, I thought I had lost my son forever. Instead, I gave him the only chance he had left to become the man I always believed he could be.